Hi, folks. It's Gary here, and a very warm welcome back to the fourth official here on YouTube. Joining you for today's Bluenose Bulletin, Wednesday, 26th of March, 2025. And today we are bringing you the latest transfer news regarding Vaclav Cerny and Nicolas Raskin as we are coming out of the final international break of this season. And I think it's fair to say Rangers' biggest assets, Cerny and Raskin, both had a very fruitful international break. Nico Raskin getting a start for Belgium and being highly impressive in a midfield anchor role behind Kevin De Bruyne in a very impressive win over Ukraine, which saw him getting multiple plaudits from the Belgian media. And Václav Cerny, again, on the score sheet for the Czech Republic in their win against Gibraltar. And it's led to more talk with regards to both players' long-term future with Rangers. Obviously, Václav Cerny currently on loan with the club from Wolfsburg in Germany. And reports breaking this morning stating that Rangers have an exclusive option for 5.5 million for Václav Cerny are believed to be untrue. Rangers Review this afternoon breaking the news that whilst there is interest from Rangers in keeping Václav Cerny going into next season, they don't have an exclusive option in the loan agreement with Wolfsburg for Václav Cerny, and it's expected that we will be in competition with clubs from France and Italy. Very recently, Václav Cerny's agent was speaking to Czech media and stated that he didn't believe that it was incredibly realistic for Cerny to be at Rangers next season. Under contract with Wolfsburg until 2027, but Václav does have ambitions to return to one of the top five leagues in Europe. So whether that is going back to the Bundesliga, although unlikely to be back to Wolfsburg, or whether or not he goes and takes interest from the likes of France and Italy. But yeah, unlikely, I think, at this stage that Václav Cerny will be a Rangers player next season beyond his very impressive loan spell this year. But obviously, time will tell with regards to whether or not that is the case. And he is obviously a player who has enjoyed his time at Ibrox so far this season. 17 goals and 7 assists so far this season. So we'll see what happens with regards to that. And obviously, the controversy that came off the back of the win Parkhead and the Old Firm game before the break, and the furore in and around Splashgate and spraying the water bottles into the main stand. I certainly don't believe it will die down any time soon. The other kind of jewel in the crown when it comes to transfer talk and stories is, of course, Nicolas Raskin, who we can absolutely state that has been Rangers' kind of best player so far this season, and a kind of stunning return to form, given the fact that he wasn't even in the side at the beginning of the season. Now, Nico Raskin has got 2 years left on his Rangers deal, and I think it's very interesting in terms of what will happen with Nico Raskin in terms of what the future brings for him, because he very much had everyone in Belgium eating out the palm of his hand on his first Belgium start, that 3-1 win against the Ukraine, very much in place of Yuri Tielemans, who had been suspended, and he at the kind of base of that midfield with a man of the match performance, and that will certainly add to the kind of growing clamour and the reputation that Nico Raskin has got from his performances for Rangers this season, particularly in the Europa League, standout performances against the likes of Manchester United and Tottenham. And he's got unanimous praise from the press back in Belgium, with Football News hailing his doggedness and trying to get in and around it, and hailing his kind of energy and kind of pitbull-like qualities in the middle of the park. And given the fact that Tielemans and Onana were both unavailable for that's £90 million worth of Aston Villa talent, it's very much expected that he will remain in and around the Belgian national squad for their next fixtures. And that can only be a good thing when it comes to Rangers with this kind of much vaunted player trading model, which they absolutely have to get right in terms of selling players at the top end of the curve. And it's believed that the Rangers are looking for a fee in the region of around about £20 million if they are to sell Nicolas Raskin in the summer. Although there is interest, I think, from the club to look to at least offer him a new deal. But if big money starts calling, particularly from the English Premiership, it's been long established that Nico has desire to play with Chelsea, albeit they've got a squad of around 90 odd players, so that's a hard deal to get done and a great deal of midfield competition there. But it would be a massive surprise if there aren't teams, particularly down south, that are looking at Nicolas Raskin in the summer. We've seen reports of Leeds United, should they be promoted. He's one of a number of players that's on their wish list for the summer. And also Tottenham Hotspur, who certainly need some reinforcements in the kind of defensive midfield area. Again, could well be attributed with an interest in Nico Raskin. So I think it's going to be difficult for Rangers to look to keep hold of him. And given that he's only got 2 years left on his deal, the summer will be the time, I think, to look to try and cash in at the top of the curve with him. It's a very different story when it comes to someone like Hamza Yaman, who's still got a long period left on his contract, very still a raw player, work in progress with regards to him. Although it is expected again that there will be interest in Hamza Yaman in the summer, and the fact that he's now also involved at senior level for Morocco will certainly help in terms of a potential fee that Rangers could look for someone like Hamza Yaman. You've also got the likes of Ben Davies and Kieran Dowell, who have been very much instrumental in Birmingham City's apparent rise through League One, and they very much look well set for promotion back to the English Championship. And it would be a surprise if they don't at least come to talk to Rangers about the potential of retaining Ben Davies and Kieran Dowell going into next season for their crack at the Championship. Obviously, a long time to come between now and the end of the season, and with the news regarding 49ers Enterprises takeover talks, it's going to be a busy summer, I think, on and off the park in terms of shaping Rangers squad going into next season. But yeah, Cerny and Raskin, certainly two players to watch out for in terms of what happens next. With both of them, I would state that if we want to continue to enjoy them, enjoy the remaining games between now and the end of the season, because for me, there's a strong chance that both would be wearing Rangers blue come next season. Another big news, obviously, coming out of Rangers yesterday was stories coming from UEFA regarding the sanctions from the Fenerbahce game. And it's fair to say that it's caused a great deal of debate on social media channels, on the media, TalkSport, and various different places. And Simon Jordan on TalkSport this morning stating that the banner that was held aloft by the Union Bears at that Fenerbahce game, keep woke foreign ideologies out and to defend Europe, he believed wasn't racist or discriminatory, but Rangers got a €30,000 fine for that and a suspended partial stadium closure for the Copeland Road stand. And the Rangers statement that came out yesterday stating that they are looking at stadium bans, lifetime bans for the supporters that are there. And there's certainly been two very strongly worded statements from Rangers on the matter, looking to try and sort out the behaviour of a small minority of club fans, which once again gives threat over lockouts, both in Premier Sports games for the use of pyrotechnics and future breaches, which could include illicit chanting that could see the full Copland Road stand closed for a future European game. And just given how much Rangers depend on the income from European matches, it would be a massive blow for Rangers to have a partial stadium closure imposed on them by UEFA. And I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see the fallout from this, both from the club, but the club have been very, very adamant in terms of what their stance is on it and trying to distance politics from the football stadium and how they are looking to distance himself from that sort of behaviour and really encouraging all supporters to adhere to the everyone everywhere policies that the club are very adamant about. Certainly more on this to come, and if you join us over on our Patreon channel, myself and Mitch have got a full podcast dropping over the course of the next 24 hours. We will go into a lot more detail with regard to those UEFA charges as we build up for the return of domestic football at the weekend, and Rangers travelling to Dens Park, Dundee Saturday tea time, and full coverage of that game also here on the Fourth Official on YouTube and on Patreon. Until I speak to you next time, a big thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.